Hi, my name is Peter Davos, and I'm the founder and CEO of Hale Education. I'm also the host of the Admission Possible podcast, and I'm joined today by Wiann Wilson, formerly of James Wellington International School, and now a rising sophomore at Columbia University. Welcome, Wiann.
Hi, Peter.
How's it going?
I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you?
You missing New York?
I miss New York a lot. I miss New York a lot.
So, it's widely described or referred to as the greatest city in the world. I believe it.
I believe it too.
You
I would
do?
agree.
Tell
I would
me.
agree. I just to me, I think when I first got there, the first thing you notice about New York is its soul. I think New York has a soul like truly no other.
Yes.
Like even though I live in like Morningside Heights, which is like
Yeah.
historically a gentrified part of West Harlem.
Yes.
It still like bleeds into the city. Like I still am reminded that I'm in the most fantastic city in the world. And you go 2 blocks north, 2 blocks south, and you're like, there's culture that surrounds me.
Yes.
And if I'm not happy with Morningside Heights, I take the subway, the 116th subway. I can go where I want.
You know, it's interesting. Like, I feel like a lot of Dubai kids are not New York ready, but I feel like you were New York ready. So what, are some of the experiences that prepared you to live on your own? Because it's not for everybody like 18 years old, even if you're American, right? I'm from Boston. I don't think I could have survived New York at 18, but you're thriving there. So what do you put that down to?
I think definitely you have to have a greater awareness of your safety. Like we live in Dubai, one of the most safest cities in the world. And so you have to be prepared to think about not leaving your things outside when you're at a coffee shop. Like here it's normal that no one's going to take anything, but you have to be cognizant of the fact that that's not the way it is in the city.
Yeah.
But you also just have to have like an open mind, be open to the culture that's going to be presented to you.
Yeah.
I think here sometimes there's a homogenous culture, but over there it's like everybody from across the world. And you really have to be open to like new ideas and new cultures and new ways of the way that people live, like the socioeconomic diversity that exists there.
That diversity, we don't really see it here in Dubai.
No.
Yeah.
And you have to be open to the way that people live, and it's not the way that you're used to seeing people live here, right? And you have to have an open mind and be like more diligent to understand that.
More empathetic.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the education that I'm exposed to at Columbia also reflects the ideas of people that come together there. Like, I think one thing that's fantastic about Columbia is that even though it's an Ivy, and there's that like old money sort of like aesthetic that surrounds it, there's also huge socioeconomic diversity. And I think it is the Ivy with the largest socioeconomic diversity. And that really shows in the classrooms that I'm in and the ideas that I'm exposed to, because not everybody has the same background that I do. And I think that's like you have to approach that with an open mind.
Yeah.
And I think it's a beautiful thing to learn from people from like all walks of life.
And you're choosing that university partly based on that set of factors, right?
Absolutely.
Because you want to get that exposure.
Yes, I wanted to be in the most diverse place with the most diverse ideas, because how else am I supposed to like change? And you asked me like what made me ready. My favorite high school teacher, he always told me like, what you're not changing, you're choosing.
That's interesting.
And
I want to think about it. What you're not changing, you're choosing.
You're choosing.
Yeah.
And I think me being here in the same environment I've always grown up in, I was not necessarily going to change and be the version of myself that I wanted to be. And so me choosing not to go to New York was me choosing to stay here. And that choice was to never change who I was.
Right.
And so what prepared me to go to New York City was I already decided for myself that I'm making that choice to choose to change. And I think once you open yourself up to that and you're going somewhere to change and who you are, but also like find who you are.
Yes.
I think that decision that I had already chosen for myself really like opened me up to like being as open-minded as possible.
Incredible.
Truly like allowing myself to thrive in that.
And I think, Columbia's core curriculum.
Yes.
Right. And maybe you can describe that a little bit, because some people hear core and they just kind of run away and
Yeah.
they don't want to hear about it anymore. But it really forces you to think, and it gives you a really broad foundation in lots of different academic areas. But it gives you exposure, right, to maybe courses, subjects that otherwise you'd shy away from.
Yeah. I think there's like a very popular like stereotype at Columbia that like everybody hates before.
Yeah.
But I think at least
Fake news? Is that fake news?
well, honestly, like not that much for like the majority of students, especially students who are like STEM based, who go to C's, which is our engineering and science school. They're like, why do we have to do Lit Hum and read like the Western canon, right? They don't understand it. But for me, someone that went to Columbia because I love reading and the core curriculum and Lit Hum was very much in the essays that I wrote to get there. Like it was a pleasure for me to do that. And to explain the core curriculum, it's requirements that you have to do in order to fulfill like your degree at Columbia. I would think of it as like IB requirements. I think is something similar. Like you have to have a science requirement, a math requirement, language, etc. And so the first year course that everyone takes is a literature course called Literature Humanities. That's what I took my first year. It's both semesters, and it's the Western canon. You know, you do the traditional like Greek and Roman
Iliad,
tragedy.
Odyssey, Plato's Republic.
But you know, to me at the beginning, I was like, this is not the broad global education that I thought it would be. And then come second semester, and we're reading things like Sappho, and we're reading things about like the Middle East. Like Ibn Arabi's Translator of Desires was my favorite text that I read.
No kidding.
So even though it is the Western canon, I think Columbia does or is trying to do a good job to diversify that Western canon as much as it can. And like, I don't think we've talked about this yet, but I went in an economics and political science major. And I think that's not going to be my major going forward. And Lit Hum was a huge part in me realizing that. Because I realized how much I love reading and how much I love literature and how much I loved analyzing the institutions that hold up the world that we live in. That I don't think that understanding or that need to learn that was fulfilled by my economics and political science studies. Peter, I don't think I've told you this yet, but I went into Columbia an economics and political science major, and Lit Hum doing it has made me realize that maybe that's not what I want to study anymore. I think I looked at the institutions that they described in these books and how they frame society, that I realized that I wasn't gaining that need to learn those institutions from my economics and political science studies.
So you did take some econ and poli-sci courses?
Yes, I did. For my first 2 semesters, I got to actually skip the econ intro class with my IB credits, but I did macroeconomics, I did Calc 3, Calc 1. Yeah, I did intro to like human rights. I did intro to international relations. So I took loads of poli-sci classes, and my favorite was intro to comparative politics. Like I love these classes, but you know, we talked about this briefly earlier, but I was learning about, you know, how countries were performing power dynamics between themselves, but I didn't learn about power itself.
Interesting.
How is it, you know, constructed socially?
Yes.
You know, what makes people use it as they do? I don't want to learn about historical instances,
applications
of the uses of power. Exactly. I want to learn about the institution itself. I want to learn about institutions like race and gender and how do we deconstruct them and how are they constructed. I don't think I learned that through my degree.
But you still have that flexibility, and it's totally okay and normal and no biggie. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. You only declare your major spring semester of sophomore year. So I have that flexibility coming into my sophomore year. I just registered for an intro to anthropology class.
Love it.
An intro to literary studies class, which is what I really wanted to do through Lit Hum. I'm still taking contemporary civilizations, which is another core curriculum requirement. It comes after literature humanities. And I'm taking like an intro to sociology class. Like I'm trying out all these things because I'm not exactly sure where my studies are going to take me. And I explored that my first year. Didn't really go exactly how I wanted to. But I think the beauty of the American education system, higher education system, is that I'm alled to change it.
Correct.
I can choose to change.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the humanities are drawing you closer and closer.
I know. Like for like 200%. Like I'm not somebody who's just going to decide to study chemistry tomorrow. Like it's definitely going to be in the humanities, maybe history, like who knows, but like I love that I have the freedom to explore that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tell me a little bit more about what were some of the challenges in adapting, you know, to student life, because you're in a foreign country, right? You're all by yourself.
Yeah.
You're in a highly competitive atmosphere. Everyone's a genius, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there must have been some kind of like adjustment phase to getting your bearings, like as you process all of these things at once.
I think imposter syndrome is something that I wasn't very familiar with in high school. Like I was very talented and able in high school because I was in a small.
You kind of killed it. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
I was like big fish, little pond.
Yeah.
Now I'm a small fish in a huge, like massive pond. And I did struggle with thinking that I wasn't, deserving to be there when I listened to everybody else in my class chime in so effortlessly into things that I didn't even begin to understand. Right. So it was hard to come over that. But I think
Oh, is that something you had to come over in your own mind and yourself?
Yes.
That was the challenge.
Absolutely. Because I knew the type of person I was. If I worked harder, I could chime in those conversations myself. But it's coming over that mental block of, oh, I'm not good enough to be here, that you have to learn to overcome yourself. Another thing was, I don't think I didn't have this realization before. I love being home alone, like reading or like watching TV or whatever. But there was always like that distant murmur of my dad downstairs and my mom and my sister. And I don't think I've ever truly been alone before. And it's kind of a daunting feeling when your parents leave and you're in your dorm room and you're like, oh my God, like it's just
real now.
It's just me now. Like that's crazy. And I don't think I'd processed that it would just be me for like 6 months at a time. And I think learning to be okay with being alone and learning how to thrive in that environment where, like at the beginning, you just have yourself.
Correct.
I think it's, setting up like a support system. Like I call my parents at this time and like setting up a routine in which you feel supported, even though you're miles away, I think is really important. And it's something that I didn't realize that I needed. Interesting.
Yeah. But did you slowly find your tribe there?
Yes.
And how do you, or who is your tribe, and how did you kind of settle into your, comfort zone?
Yeah. I think at the beginning, I just try to make as many friends as possible. And I think when everybody's trying to do the same, there's this like false sense of closeness that you feel to everybody. And then the weeks go by and you realize, okay, they're not my best friends. I've known them 5 days.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you have to be a little cautious about like who you're bringing close into your circle. At the same time, like allowing yourself to make those friends, but giving time for those connections to actually form into something real and not that fake sense of closeness that everyone feels their first week there. Right. So it's for me a little bit of a learning curve to like have that understanding because no one really told me that going in. And so I think time went by and I really found the people that are close to me. And now we have really good, strong friendships. But it's like knowing that it's okay that you don't have your best friends like week one, right?
Yeah.
It's like allowing yourself to have that time to make those really, meaningful connections and not trying to force it your first few weeks in fear of some sort of like loneliness or isolation. Like you have to come to terms with, yes, you're going to be alone at some times. Yes, you might have to eat lunch alone or you might have to go to the library alone. That's totally okay because if you look around, everybody is doing the same, right? In high school, you're all in the same environment. You've known everybody in your class for like 6 years at a time. You eat lunch with the same people, go to class with the same people. But it's okay for you to do that on your own this time. Amazing. And I think that was a realization I had to come to, but I'm really proud in the fact that I've come to that realization now.
Yeah.
And in terms of like finding friends that you really care about, I think the best places that I found really good friends is in clubs that I feel really passionately about.
Which ones are those?
And so the first clubs that I joined, and I will warn you, like there is this another stereotype at Columbia that the clubs at Columbia are harder to get into than Columbia themselves.
It's true.
It's so
because
true.
Everyone at Columbia got into Columbia.
Exactly.
Not everybody in that club, right? Not everybody in Columbia is getting into that specific club.
And that applicant pool that you're in is now already so incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
Right. So that to get into an even smaller, pool is like so all the more challenging, right? So I went in not with the highest of expectations because I knew this about Columbia, but I still, full force in, had a head held high. And I joined the Columbia Daily Spectator, which is the newspaper. We won the award for the best college newspaper this year.
In the whole country?
In the whole country.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Wow.
We beat the Harvard Crimson. Yes.
Give it to those guys.
And so that was one of my favorite clubs that I joined this year. Incredibly competitive, but I think it was a college application of its own, to be honest.
So are you a writer?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I write for the university news section. I'm very, very passionate about writing. I have been all throughout high school. I founded my own, a magazine club at school, and like is something very dear to me, and I knew I wanted to do it going into college. But like the application process was like 7 essays, 500 words each, and then an interview in person, and the third group interview. So it's like,
what did
it's
they
like,
ask you in the interview? What kind of questions did they throw your way?
The first question that they asked, I think it was like a hazing question. They were like, in this book about journalism, what is the main principle of journalism? I was like, I've never read this book before.
Okay.
And I had to be really honest, but I've never read this book before. But that's what they're looking for.
This was a quiz show.
Yeah, like
basically, they didn't sign up for that.
But that's what they're looking for. They were like, what's the 3 pillars of journalism? Like, I've never, been in a journalistic environment like that. But they're looking for the way that you think.
Right.
It's like
if you're honest or you're just kind of making it up and trying to look smart. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like journalism is about the facts. So they're looking to see what facts you know, and if you're honest about putting those facts forward, how you word them. They're looking for like how your mind works rather than what knowledge you already have.
Interesting.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Clearly you did well. You passed.
Yes, I did pass. And I think it's like been such a rewarding experience to learn how to be a press member, especially one of the universities where, public doesn't have access to the inside workings of our university. And so we're the publication that publishes these breaking stories. And to be part of that organization, I think, is something really that I found rewarding in my time there.
Yeah. And it's kind of an exciting time for Columbia.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I know people are like some parents are even like worried, like, oh, like sending their kids to Columbia in a politically like charged atmosphere. Yeah. But to me, it's like, it's all I've ever known. Like, I don't have anything to compare it to. Right. Like friends tell me the stories about at other colleges, but like to me, it's like normal. Like, yes, there are protests going outside, but they don't really harm. Like,
they don't impact your daily life.
Yeah, my classroom experience.
Right.
Yeah.
You haven't been barred from a classroom or a building, have you?
No. Well, except for the one in Butler Library when they took over Butler Library. We couldn't go into Butler, but we could go into the other libraries. So, like, sometimes it does affect.
Low is better, isn't it? Like, if you want to.
We can't go into Low. It's an admin building now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So sometimes we host, like, clubs host events there, but it's actually an admin building. So that's, like, secret of Columbia.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So cool. I mean, again, back to the Spectator now.
Yes.
What are some of the cool stories that you covered that you're most proud of?
So I'm on like the admissions beat, specifically like after affirmative action had been overturned, how that affect the racial demographics of our school.
How did it affect?
Like the admission of Black students went down 8%.
Wow.
All the other racial demographics except for Asian American went down. So Asian American and the white demographics increased. So this was predicted by most of the people who work in admissions. They knew that this would happen over the overturn of affirmative action. So I was interested, yes, in the facts, but more so in like student experience. So my big enterprise, which is like a storytelling article that I wrote, was about Black students reacting to the demographic statistics. And I interviewed a lot of like Black student leaders on campus and Black students themselves giving their testimonials to how they feel, Black first years specifically, about being the first class. And I'm part of that class, admitted post-affirmative action. So it was really like close to my heart that I got to document these stories and come to conclusions about, Black students writing about their racial experience in these applications and how that affected the overall demographic turnout. And share their voices, right? Yeah. That's amazing. Incredible. And now, in regards to, I mean, I get these questions all the time. Maybe you do too. In regards to what's going on between the current administration and the university, how is that impacting student life? Yeah. I think it's something we talk about a lot. Yeah. I think also for STEM students, they've seen a decrease in the amount of like available research positions because research funding was slashed. Yes. Yeah. So I think we're only beginning to see the impact. I truly can't speak for like how the impact is going to domino effect in the next few years. But I think initial impact is like just worry. Like we just have so much uncertainty about the future and about the way that our schools administration is interacting with the Trump administration. And like for personally, like I was enrolled in the history of the modern Middle East class. That was the history class I wanted to take next semester, but the Professor Khalidi actually resigned from teaching that class next semester because of our university's relations with the current administration in Washington. And so like that's one of the effects that I see.
Impact on you personally.
On me personally, right? That I don't get to take the class that I wanted, but I understand that the professor is doing that in his political right.
Yes.
Right. So it's like things like that we have to deal with, but it's also like inspiring to be in a place with such political like advocacy. And like that's something like I've always wanted to go into, right? Like I've wanted to see the way politics operates
on the ground level,
on the
grassroots.
Right.
Yes.
Even though like I'm aware of my position as an international student that I shouldn't get involved in these things, but it's interesting to see.
Observe at least and report.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how people, you know, band together, advocate, engage with change that they believe is meaningful and take action towards it. Right? Like Mamdani, who is like
the next mayor.
Like hopefully, like we don't know, right?
Yeah.
His grassroots organization started in the city, and he lived in Morningside Heights.
His dad's a professor
at Columbia. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see the way that his political campaign charged through the city to be, you know, watching my peers get involved, I think is really inspiring to see people take charge at that level, at that velocity. And I think it's so hard to see something like that in motion in a city that's not New York.
Yeah. No, it's vibrant to see democracy in action.
Absolutely. And it's one thing to learn about it in your classroom and political science classes.
Yes.
That's an entire thing. It's a different thing entirely to see it on the street.
Yeah.
That is outside
knocking
the gates
on
of
doors, handing out flyers, attending rallies, right?
And that's the true value of that education, that you learn something in the classroom and you get the opportunity to practice it outside.
So, you know, by virtue of being in Columbia and being in New York City, you're getting an education. Yeah. So, I mean, you're getting a world-class Ivy League education, but then you're in, you know, the city is your classroom as well, right?
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. I think it's one thing to learn about, to be an independent learner in the classroom, but then it's another thing to learn about things about yourself independently outside of the classroom. Like I said that, you know, I can take the subway and go wherever I want in the city, but it's a feat in itself to learn how to take the subway. You know, that's something I had to teach myself.
It's not like here where there's two colors and
no, absolutely not. There's like 1,700 lines and everything's a different color.
You get lost, end up in Queens.
Yeah, you have to learn when to change the at what train station you have to change stops, and it's like,
is that intimidating? Because I feel like for some international students, they'll just like, I'll take an Uber. It's cool. Yeah,
it is intimidating, but honestly, Google Maps is like one of the biggest helps. So you can definitely navigate it on your own, but having to navigate it yourself, having to get to another part of the city yourself, you know, having to learn how to do all those things, but also just like appreciating the fact that you can go anywhere in the city. It's the freedom in itself. And honestly, like more than the education that I've learned in the classroom, I've learned so much about who I am as a person and how much I've changed being in that environment. And I think that's the most valuable lesson that I've learned this year is like, I've learned more about myself. And I think that's an invaluable experience.
Unbelievable. And probably you wouldn't grow to the same extent had you gone to, I don't know, Princeton or Dartmouth or something.
Yeah, I don't think I would have grown in that way because, first of all, I don't think nature's for me that much.
No, you're a city girl.
But also, I have a friend at Princeton, and he was like, you know, like, my friends come to visit, they can just, I had a meeting in like my room, but they just hung out at the library and like whatever. And that's like an odd experience to me. It's what I was telling you, that I don't know anything about Columbia, because to get into our libraries, you have to scan with your Columbia ID. To get through the gates, you need an ID, or you need a QR code if someone's invited you, right?
Yeah.
That it's like also like there's very high security at Columbia, which can be something that you want for higher safety. But it's also sometimes a barrier, right? To like, I can't just have my friends from the city come in.
Yes. It's a process.
So it's a process, absolutely. Yeah. So it's like learning how to navigate those things as well teaches you something.
Okay.
Yeah.
How hard are the classes? Because you did the IB. IB's no joke, right? Yeah. But academically, do you feel challenged? Do you feel like you have to work hard to get a good grade? Or is there grade inflation? What's the real deal there?
I think you absolutely have to work hard. I think grade inflation does exist, like the curve does help. I'm not gonna lie. However, like to even get to the point where the curve helps, you have to work hard.
Okay.
And at Columbia, it's like even if you're the most brilliant STEM student, you have to do lit hum like everybody else.
Yep.
And you have to read those.
That will impact your GPA
Absolutely.
if you don't do well.
You have to read those Western classics. So it doesn't matter what sort of background you're coming from. I still have to take a science class, even though I'm a humanities person. I have to take a language class. So I think no matter what your strong suit is, you will be challenged academically. And that's okay. Like I didn't do as well as I thought I would do. Like I got my first like B ever in my life.
Terrible.
And I know that sounds a little like silly.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, I was a big fish in a small pond here, and I'm a small fish in a huge pond.
Yeah.
So it's a little daunting to not do as well academically, but it's something that I have to learn to change the way that I study because I'm not studying in high school anymore. I'm studying for a college class.
It's really different because the way you're assessed is different.
Absolutely.
So talk a little bit about those differences between IB and then Columbia.
Yeah. At IB, everything apart from a few things are like test-based or coursework based. But at college, you're being assessed on the way you participate and the discussions that you're engaged in. Are your ideas academically challenging? Are they nuanced? Are they fleshed out? This is what the professor is assessing.
Not just do you know the information.
Exactly.
Right.
Everybody reads the same book, but do you have the most unique and nuanced idea that stemmed from that book? Are you challenging what the author believes? Does the author have any like biases that you disagree with? Is the premise of the book like correct? What does it mean to have something be correct?
Yes.
Like you have to think in a way that's not ordinary.
Critical thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Independent thought.
You can't think in a way that's common to everybody.
Yes.
Because if you thought in a way that's common, Columbia is not the place for you. And you wouldn't be even admitted to Columbia because the essays that you write about in the admissions essays also want you to think in a way that's critical.
Do you find anyone who's there, or did you find anyone? It's like, man, I'm over my head. I don't know what I got into. I wanted to come to New York. It would, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, like there's loads of like engineering students in my, like lit hum classes that are like, I wish I didn't have to take this class.
Yeah.
Because I think in their classes, like 2 + 2 is 4.
Correct.
But here they might tell you that 5 + 5 is 27. Like, what are you supposed to do? How do you make of that, not logically sound argumentation? Like you can argue anything if you know how to argue it, right? And that's sometimes hard for people.
It's intimidating. Yeah.
Who are like STEM majors, at least since what I've noticed, that like, they probably will ace the math test that I struggle in. Yeah. But in a classroom where we study like literature, it's hard for them to change the way that their mind is wired. I think that is really helpful for me, that I'm taught to think critically in a logical way in my math classes, but then I'm also taught to think outside the box, like, pretend the box doesn't even exist in my literature class.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Did you join any other student clubs?
I did. So I'm also in a Greek poli-sci society.
Greek being like me Greek, or?
No. It's like Latin Greek, like a Greek society, you might heard of like sororities and fraternities.
Of course, I was in one. Yes.
But I'm not in a sorority or a frat. It's like it's like a pre-professional a Greek society. Okay. And it's called Polis. Okay. And it's for poli-sci. This is when I was a prospective poli-sci major, but I think I'm still gonna stay in because we do both social and like networking events for people who are like prospective lawyers and want to work in policy change. Okay. And it's just like I've met some of my closest friends to that club. Another club I'm in is Zamana, which is the South Asian like
selective
affinity.
Too, I heard, to get into. Is that true?
Yes, that's very true. We take only like around 8 people per semester. Wow. Out of an applicant pool that's much larger than 8. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I think there's not really like a reason behind that selectivity except for the fact that we can accommodate more than that many members with the funding that we get from the school. And it's really not anything like strategic. It's just about, would you fit in with our club? And
you're organizing events, which everybody is welcome to.
Absolutely. We organize events that anyone within the South Asian community or outside is welcome to, which is great. But like to be on e-board, on the executive board, you have to do multiple auditions and multiple interviews to get into. But that is my favorite club at Columbia, absolutely. And I've met some of my closest friends in that club.
What kind of events do you organize?
So this year I was elected to be Tamasha chair. Tamasha is our biggest event of the year. It's where we bring together all the South Asian.
As a freshman?
Yes.
How did you pull that off?
Well, I think it's about like knowing why you want to do it in the club, and also like making connections, close connections with the club, which I think I did. And so I put myself out there and I shot for the position and I got it, which I'm proud of. But Tamasha is the event that I will be organizing this year that I helped out for. Sorry, that I will be organizing next year that I helped out this year. And we bring together all the South Asian clubs on campus.
How many are there?
I think there's over 20.
Wow.
There's like a large.
Are there
amount.
different clubs for, I don't know, dancing?
Yes, we have like a bhangra club. We also
Yeah.
have Tal, Ras, which are different forms of like South Asian dancing. We also have like Pakistani Students Association, Bangladeshi Students Association. So if you're not one of the 8 that gets into Zamana, you're definitely open to welcome to try for the other clubs. And Zamana is like the parent organization of all the South Asian
like an
clubs.
umbrella.
Yes, exactly. And so we invite all the other clubs to join in at our events, and we have sponsors for food and drinks.
Okay.
And we host like performances throughout the day, and it's really fun where all the South Asian community can come together. And it's my favorite event. Yeah.
Incredible. And how many people will show up?
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's in Low Library.
Oh, there you go.
It's one of the events we hold in Low. Yeah. I mean, there is a real library. I mean, we're not allowed to go in it, but it's like a huge event space, and it's special because Low Library is so pinnacle of the image of Columbia.
It's iconic. Yes.
I know. So that we get to host an event there is pretty cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
Very good. Other maybe interesting cultures or traditions, Columbia specific, that you were introduced to that you were just like, okay, let's, something that was kind of unexpected, but also fun and part of the student experience that you didn't anticipate, would be, I don't know, kind of different.
Well, there's 2 things. The first thing I want to talk about is a primal scream.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've heard about that.
I sure
so
have. Yeah.
On the day before finals, when it hits 12, everybody gets out of whatever library or room they're in. We all scream for like a minute straight. And it's just like all your frustration you get out of that scream. And it's kind of like beautiful.
It's a communal,
like
cultural activity.
Yeah. So I didn't expect it to be this like empowering, but it was really empowering to scream at the top of my lungs. Just frustration of finals. And it speaks to how academically rigorous Columbia is, that we all collectively scream before
It's nice
finals.
that you stopped at screaming, didn't take it further. That was like, there are a few steps beyond that you could have, ventured down. So
that was really fun. But another thing that surprised me was that like we're not a big sporting like rah school spirit school, but we all still show up for homecoming, the football game. I mean, granted, we leave halfway, half of the people leave halfway. We don't even finish the game. But it's fun to dress up.
Is that because the score is a foregone conclusion? Yeah, pretty much.
But I say that, but we did win the Ivy championship this year.
That is so nuts.
Yeah.
I don't think, when's the last time? Do you know? Like how many
over
decades
50 years
ago?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Long time ago.
Wow.
Long time ago.
Wow.
So even though, we won this year, it's not like there was like a huge like school spirit that followed. I mean, we're so proud, but it's like, know that when you come to Columbia, you're not going to have like the UMich football games.
No.
Yeah.
The applications to Columbia won't spike because you won the Ivy League football championship. Yeah, but it's cool to have access to that.
Yeah, and you have access to all sorts of, academic, not academic, athletic games. We have great women's basketball team. We have a great women's fencing team. We're number 1 in the country.
Wow.
We have a great men's tennis team. I think we're also number 1 in the Ivy League.
No kidding.
So we have great games that you can go to.
And they're free for you, right?
Yeah.
As students, yeah.
So, I can't promise that there's going to be a whole lot of Columbia students showing out, but...
You get a good seat. That's
you have the opportunity for sure.
Yeah, fun. And you say you go into the city, so... How often do you go into the city? Where do you go? Do all Columbia students kind of make time to explore New York? Is that typical for?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no way you go to Columbia and you're not familiar with the city. My favorite thing to do by myself is go to the museums. I love the Met. I love the Natural History Museum.
Yeah.
I love the Guggenheim. I've been to all these museums by myself. The MoMA is one of my favorites, right? And I think it's really important to me and the person that I am that I have access to things like this.
Good for you.
Outside of my traditional education.
Yeah.
And, all these places have student discounts as you show them your Columbia ID. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to pay the $50 or whatever it is.
Have you been to the JP Morgan Library?
No, I haven't.
You have to go.
Is it beautiful?
Amazing. One of my
Okay.
favorite places. I'm into libraries,
Okay.
and this is one of the best in the world.
Do you know what street it's on?
I don't remember, but
Okay.
it's actually JP Morgan's private library.
Okay.
It's insane.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, speaking about libraries, we have some of the coolest libraries ever. And Butler has this rare manuscript library.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard about it.
I have. I've never been, but
I've seen the first edition of the Communist Manifesto.
no way.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fun. So you're going in for cultural, experiences into New York, which hard to beat in terms of museums.
And like, it's just like my favorite thing to do when I'm having a bad day or things aren't going as well as I wanted is I go down to 4th Street. I get a Blank Street matcha and I sit in Washington Square Park.
Oh,
and I just
a lot of
absorb
great
the
people
life.
watching there, isn't there?
I just absorb the life that's around.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm reminded that like school isn't everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a great city and I get to live my life here, which is an opportunity that's not afforded to everyone.
It's amazing.
I just feel really lucky sitting there.
And there are a lot of that's next door to NYU.
Yeah,
so
that's NYU home base.
Yeah.
So I feel a little bit out of my depths there, but all the same, I
You're
love
not
it.
wearing like a sky blue hoodie.
No, yeah, I don't think
like
that's
a
for my
lion.
safety.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't do that.
You're gonna
Yeah,
get jumped by a purple gang.
yeah, I mean like, yeah.
Fun. Best pizza in New York?
Best pizza in New York is probably. I don't want to be the typical Columbia student, but I have to say like Cornette's holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Like their vodka pizza slice. Oh my god, it's so good.
It's
like
a real deal.
The pink penne. Oh my god, it's so good.
Amazing.
So good.
I haven't been, so I got to check it out.
It's so good.
Tell me, what are you looking forward to most next year? You said you're going to make a little bit of an academic shift, but what else, is something you still have core curriculum requirements that you need to fulfill?
Yeah.
But now kind of being a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more settled. What does next year look like for you? What are you most excited about?
I think now that I have an established, really nice group of friends and people that I care about and that care about me, I think I'm just really excited to have new experiences in the city, try out like the New York Times like restaurant lists that they put out, make my way down those, visit new places. Like I recently visited my friends in like Arkansas, like she lives there. I've never been to like a southern state like that. To have experiences like that where I'm invited places.
It's like a whole different country, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like it's very much not New York, but I think it's important for me to see places like that. And one of my friends, he works for the UN this summer, and he got invited to like this private showing of this gallery at the Met, and he asked me to be his plus one. I was like, absolutely. Wow. And like, where are you gonna have cool experiences like that if not the city? And as much as I value my education, I'm so excited to explore what I want to study. And to be honest, it doesn't scare me that I don't know what I want to study.
It's liberating in a way, isn't it?
Absolutely, because I know I'm going to find what I love.
Yes.
And I'm just enjoying the experience that I have next year to explore all the things that I could love. And I think that's so exciting for me. Alongside all the experiences I'm going to have in the city, I know I'm going to have equally as many experiences in the classroom to figure out who I am. And I know that after one more year goes by, I'm going to be even closer to knowing who I am as a person.
Yeah.
I think that's an experience that I'm really excited for, to see not only have these experiences, but see how those experiences change me, how I react to them, and how that teaches me about who I am.
Incredible. You think law may be in your future as a potential career path?
Yes, I know. I'm also not scared about the degree that I end up with because I know I want to go to law school.
That's like certain.
I think so.
You may not be sure about the major, but you're pretty sure about law school.
Yes, I think one thing that's great about law school, it doesn't demand a specific degree at undergrad. So I could go in an English major or an econ major, like whatever I decide. But I do think come end of sophomore year, I want to start studying for the LSAT.
Yeah. That early, huh?
Yeah.
Start then, yeah.
I mean, everyone at Columbia starts that early.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's intimidating to be in an environment like that that's competitive because everybody's always doing something. But I think it also prepares me to understand what steps I need to be as successful as Columbia graduates in the future.
I have a student there, Simone. Have we talked about her?
No, I don't think
She's at Columbia Law.
Okay.
She was also an IB student here in Dubai, Penn undergrad. I think she's a 2L now.
Okay.
But I'll put you in touch with her.
Yeah, okay.
She'll give you some tips. But like she's a passionate writer, all about advocacy, justice. So it'd be great to.
And the law school's right there, right outside the Columbia College gates.
Does your ID get you in there?
No, actually.
It's a totally different idea.
I've tried. I'll tell you, because I thought you could with a Columbia ID, you could get into the law school, but apparently you need a law ID.
Wow,
but they can get into our campus, so doesn't seem all the fair to me.
No, we have to bring that up in the justice course in 1L.
Yeah.
Very cool. What else was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you a little bit about academic pressure, especially if you're thinking about law school.
Yeah.
Your GPA matters.
Absolutely.
Right. So is that something you feel from day one, or is that something you become increasingly more aware of, like as the semesters, kind of you go through your undergraduate journey? So what do you feel?
I mean, I just talked about how I got my first B at college, and it might seem superficial and silly, but to me it's very real because I have to have that great GPA if I want to go to law school. So it's also about, finding the balance between what you love to study, also what you're good at. Because if you want to maintain that GPA, you have to have a good balance of the both of those. And so I think I'm very aware and cognizant of that fact, because I think when you go into Columbia, people are very sure for the most part about what they want to do in the future, and they already have steps to get there. And I think being in that environment, like I spoke about before, like I'm also learning to be prepared for, even though there's a little uncertainty in my major right now, I know my end goal, which is law school, for now at least. And like being in that environment allows me to want to be prepared for whatever comes up my way, even though there's uncertainty, to navigate that through understanding that I also have to pick what I'm good at, whatever major I end up with, because I have to keep that GPA. And everyone's like, I have friends who are upperclassmen who are already studying for the LSAT, talking to them about, what they're doing, how they did it, also helps me prepare and knows what kind of, posts I need to set up in my future to attain that goal that I have.
Yeah. And I think, that's the best source of information. Your senior students,
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Which classes to take, which professors to stay away from.
Yes.
Right.
GPA booster classes.
There you go.
Which ones to stay away from.
So what's the easy class I need to take to boost my GPA?
Well, I don't know yet, but I've heard like some language classes are easy.
Okay.
So, and I'm doing like Hindi for native speakers, which is like a great way to boost your GPA because, I mean, if you already speak a language, it's easier.
Yeah.
You can take a native class.
That's interesting.
And also fulfills the requirement.
2 birds, 1 stone.
I've also heard the the psychology class.
Yeah.
It fulfills the science requirement.
Yeah.
And it's also not that hard.
Yeah, I had heard that too, but it didn't work out for me. So I had to go pass fail when I took psych in college. Very fun. Amazing. So, I mean, all positive. Any kind of negatives? Anything that you wish you could have changed from this past year or done differently or lost opportunities, if I can say it like that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think just really being intentional about the people that you surround yourself with. I think it's something that I didn't know I had to do going in. I think really take that time to understand what you want from your experience there. And really, like, there's no need to rush into it. I think as a freshman going in, you got into this school that, has such a low acceptance rate that you didn't think you would get in. Now that you're here, you want to make the best, opportunities possible out of this opportunity that you were given. I think, a lot of us are really excited to
eager
to
get
started.
Just get into it.
I think just like breathe.
Take a deep breath.
Take your time. Like it's okay to like be slow and,
kind of like what you did with the academics, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Take your time, like finding your people.
Yeah.
You don't have to know everything and have everything figured out. There's something really hard to hear, especially for me personally, at least. Like I had a goal all 4 years of high school and to be in a place where like your future is somewhat uncertain, like you can just like relax. It's okay to not know things. I think you don't
have to move from like one challenge immediately to the other. Like, you just got there, right? Which is a tremendous achievement. Enjoy it, feel it out. Don't feel the pressure like now I have to do X, Y, and Z. Right.
Take the time to figure out who you are, what you love, and how you want to go forward. It's okay to take that time.
And what's important to you? Because like I think prioritizing these things are important. Then you're going to spend more time on whatever those things are.
Absolutely.
It might be, I don't know, the gym, or it might be pre-professional stuff, or it might be cultural exploration. But that set of factors is very different for each individual.
And
Right.
also, something I didn't do going in immediately was set a routine.
Mm-hmm.
I think your routine is so disruptive and so disrupted and so different to what you're used to at home
Yes.
that take that time to think about what you want your routine to look like.
Yeah.
And once you have a routine in place,
Yeah.
it's really easy to navigate the other struggles.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to the gym, make sure you're like waking up at 7,
Yes.
going to the gym before your
Yes.
class.
Yes.
Make sure you're getting lunch.
Yeah.
Make sure you're eating well. Like, do the things that set you up for success.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's uncertainty about anything in your life, and you feel agitated, or like I felt a little overwhelmed at the beginning, at least you have your routine to fall back
Yeah.
into.
That's what I say too, is like, even if you don't have class on, I don't know, Thursday, you should still study, right? You should wake up at the same time. It's like you have a job, right? Monday to Friday, study, go to the gym, go to class, right? But don't just blow off your responsibilities for a couple of days, because it's so hard, I think, especially at Columbia, to catch up.
Yes.
If you fall behind,
Yes.
you have to read the Iliad in a week, right?
Yeah.
That's a massive text.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, there are so many kids who kind of just get in that bad set of habits, and you can't climb yourself out of that hole.
And at least like the translation of the Odyssey that we read is very dense. It's hard to understand. So even if you have a lighter reading coursework, like make sure like it takes time to understand truly what they're saying. And so give yourself time, give yourself grace. But in order to have that time, you need to have a routine set in place. And like you said, I wish you had told me the thing about like, having that routine set in place earlier, because at Columbia, famously, we don't have classes on Friday.
There you go.
Yeah. And so Friday, it's a great opportunity for me to explore the city, but oftentimes I forgot about my routine.
Yes.
And so I think that's one regret, that I wish I had established my routine earlier on. So I had more places to navigate whatever uncertainty.
I think it takes a full academic year to
To
really
know.
settle in.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much information you have and who's told you what.
Absolutely.
That's just natural. It's part of the journey.
It's learning what you want and learning how to navigate being in that environment by yourself. And honestly, my biggest piece of advice is just give yourself grace.
Amazing.
Take the time to figure it out.
Amazing. Wiann, thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter, for having me.
It's always great to see you.
Yes,
Keep doing great
likewise.
things. And hope to see you soon.
Yes. Thanks.
All right.
See you.
Thank you.